Chicago, or should I say Chicago?
Chicago.
Chicago's a better way to say it, right? What's your name, sir?
The Bears. Kelly Stewart with Newcastle Consulting.
And what do you guys do?
We are a risk management consultancy.
Is it newcastleconsulting.com?
Yes, it is. Actually, it's nccllc.net.
Oh, okay. That's important. All right, very good.
So essentially what we do, we concentrate on risk, threat, and vulnerability assessments, as well as looking at the total picture of education for the client in terms of his security apparatus.
Now, that sounds like I just interviewed you at Black Hat. It's kind of that technical terminology using, but really we're talking about physical security?
We're talking about actually a holistic security.
Oh, okay.
So the whole gambit in terms of not only the physical pieces, but also cyber, as well as operational security.
Okay.
And helping them understand what exactly do I do with that. The gap in the industry right now is actually education and understanding, well, what do I do? How do I go to the C-suite? How do I present
Yes,
things?
that's it. That's right.
And what do I do with all that information? And how is it value for the organization itself?
So what I find is back in the day when I was at the studios, the physical security guys were ex-coppers, right? Policemen.
Correct.
But you see, we knew people. We knew the people part. And we knew doors and whistles and cameras, that part. But we knew how people behaved. Now IT's come in and said, we're IT, we're higher level, we're going to take it over. They don't know the people as well. And that gap is right there between those two disciplines. They don't quite share, they don't complement each other like they should. I think that's our biggest vulnerability.
Well, it's kind of interesting. Right now we're going to do a big, well actually it's not even new, a whole convergence of cyber as well as physical. But it's been around for a couple of decades.
Right.
And the whole thing is to educate the client on what exactly they're doing. How are they going to do it properly? What are they going to do with that assessment? How is it valuable to that corporation? And how can security help in making sure they meet their objectives? So it's no longer a thing of we're going to tell you how to secure your facility, but more a aspect of how can we help your business?
Yeah, it's all about you need to get into the C-suite to understand how the business operates and be part of that operational success. You're not an add-on.
Exactly.
Not an add-on. It shouldn't be.
We're not a bolt-on.
That's right. Right.
We're trying to be part of the whole organization.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sitting in a C-level meeting. I'm explaining these things to people, and they turn to the IT guy. What do you think about that? It's like the IT guy is supposed to be smarter somehow than the physical security guy. I see this all the time, and they're two different disciplines. How do you make people understand that these two teams have to work together, and your evaluation is really an evaluation of both working together?
So the biggest part of our thing is teaming, collaboration, communication, understanding one another. Hey, you're right. We have a big gap between what they do and what we do in terms of physical as well as cyber. So it's more of an education as well as just friendly relationship and getting to know one another.
I think everything's on the internet, though. See, I don't think there's any such thing as physical security anymore. Everything's an endpoint. Everything's an endpoint. Everything's an endpoint, or it's part of the network. Your access control is an endpoint. So you can't really say it's strictly physical anymore. You really can't.
But without physical security, you can't have cyber.
Well, that's true, too. It's tough, isn't it?
It is.
And that's why you're here. And that's why you're business.
And that's why we're trying to do education for everyone.
Now, this is an unusual approach. I see approaches to IT, approaches to physical, I see approaches to consulting. You seem to mix this all together. Is this an unusual offering?
It is and it's not. A lot of companies are not very well educated on their security, both cyber and physical. And they don't take the time to understand what exactly they have. Take, for instance, I have a client who just has stuff. They have cameras, they have card readers, but they really don't know what they do for them.
Okay.
So it's educating them on that whole aspect of what that does for them, as well as in how does it integrate with the rest of whatever they have.
Right, but what I'm saying is your offering sounds a little unique. In other words, your company is providing something that most companies don't provide, I think. From what because I interview a lot of people, right? What do you do? I do access control consulting. I do cyber consulting.
I'm trying to be
putting it all together.
I'm trying to be the holistic person.
Yeah.
And look at it from both perspectives, bringing a good team of folks and just educate them on what they have. And then hopefully it makes their business a lot more profitable at the end of the day. But then it also adds value and lets the client become a trusted advisor to the C-suite.
Now, I'm going to pick on the C people a little bit because I used to be one, right? Do you get the, here's what's going on, then you get the blink, blink, blink. What did you just say? Listen, they're my age, decision makers, right? They didn't grow up with computers. I happen to be lucky that I did, right? But most of them didn't. And they have to defer to people that know that stuff. Are you getting the buy-in at that C-level guy that says, listen, I want to learn this, I'm going to learn this, or is it getting deferred back down to fix?
Well, actually, it's actually a constant change right now because no longer is it one guy. It's now the entire C-suite from the COO, the CFO, as well as the person in charge of HR and the CEO, understanding what they have as a business and talking about it freely.
And they're working together to understand.
And they're working together as opposed to one person making a decision.
Good.
So it's really changing that dynamic and helping them understand how we affect that change.
All right, so after every show, I say, wow, that's fantastic. Or I go, oh, I got a stomach ache. I don't feel so good. I feel pretty good.
Huh?
I feel that you're on the case, and this is making us move forward.
We try.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, give us the website, and let's give us the
Kel-
name and website. Go ahead.
Okay, Kelly Stewart, Managing Director and CEO of Newcastle Consulting, nccllc.net.
Fantastic. You got a booth here today?
I do not. I walk the floor.
Okay, remember this face. Find this guy and get some information from him.
Thanks
Kelly,
so much.
thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Appreciate the time.
Back in right here, GSX 2019, live from Chicago.